Sometimes, the most powerful stories don't begin with fame or fortune. They begin on a cold street corner with a man the world has forgotten. A man who once wore a uniform, who gave everything for a country that somehow left him behind. His name is Raymond Cole, a veteran standing alone under the rain in Toledo, Ohio. No home, no family, no second chances, just a bag, a memory, and a heart still beating out of habit more than hope. But on one ordinary afternoon, something extraordinary happened. A stranger with a camera walked up and asked a simple question. Would you take $1,000 right now, or a mystery gift that could change your life? That choice changed everything. What followed became one of the most heartwarming moments ever shared online. A story of kindness, redemption, and the proof that no matter how far you've fallen, it's never too late to stand again. So sit back, take a breath, and let this story remind you why humanity still matters. This is the stranger who changed his life forever. Asterisk, he stood under the awning of a small gas station on the edge of Toledo, Ohio, his shoulders heavy beneath a thin brown coat that had long forgotten what warmth felt like. The cold rain came down in silver ribbons, soaking through the seams of his boots, and the wind carried that empty hum that comes only when a man has been forgotten by the world. His name was Raymond Cole, 52 years old, a veteran, a man who once wore his uniform with pride. Now just another face the city walked past. He had been out for 3 months now, free, they called it, but freedom felt like a cruel joke. When every door you knocked on closed before you could finish your story, employers smiled politely when they heard the word veteran, and then quietly said they would call, but they never did. So he wandered streets, lined with memories of better days, hoping the next sunrise would come with a sign, something, anything, to tell him his story wasn't over. Yet each morning he'd sit by the corner cafe watching cars glide by, and people carry their lives like they belonged to something bigger. He'd sip weak coffee and count change from a paper cup, never enough for food and rent together, but enough to survive. Another day, just enough to keep breathing. Then, one gray afternoon, a stranger approached him, a young man holding a small camera with the kind of smile that didn't quite fit the weather. He wore a denim jacket and a look of genuine curiosity, like he was searching for something more than footage. Something real. Hey sir, can I ask you a question? He said, his voice light and respectful. Raymond looked up, wary but tired enough to humor him. Sure kid, what is it? The stranger introduced himself. His name was Liam. He was filming stories about kindness for his online channel. He asked if he could ask Raymond a simple question. If I offered you $1,000 right now, or a mystery gift that could change your life, which one would you choose? Raymond chuckled, shaking his head, that low laugh that comes from a place deeper than humor. Kid, I've gambled on worse things, he said. Give me the mystery. Liam smiled wide and disappeared into the rain for a few minutes. When he came back, he held a worn-out basketball with a small card taped to it. The ink had bled slightly from the damp, but the words were clear. It's never too late. Brala. Raymond froze, his throat tightening around something he hadn't felt in years. Emotion, memories of his son flooded in, the smell of summer grass, the echo of laughter on a basketball court in a small Ohio park before the army, before the war, before everything slipped away. He ran a finger over the words and whispered, barely audible, my boy used to say. That Liam said nothing. He didn't need to. His camera captured the tremor in Raymond's hand, the mix of confusion and gratitude and grief, all wrapped in one moment. That was when people began to notice. Someone across the street waved. Someone else started recording. The scene spread faster than either of them could imagine, and within days that video traveled across the internet. It wasn't pity that people felt when they saw it. It was connection. The kind of raw honesty that reminded them how close we all lived to the edge of breaking. The donations started pouring in, comments from strangers thanking Raymond for his service, messages from families who had lost sons in war, messages from children who said they wanted to help a veteran. A few days later, Liam found Raymond again, this time at the shelter where he was staying. He sat beside him, handed him an envelope, and said, you might want to sit down. Inside was a paper printed from a fundraising site with Raymond's picture right there on the front. The headline read, Help. A veteran rebuilt his life, and under it the number that made his knees go weak, $137,000. He didn't cry right away. He just stared at it in disbelief, then laughed through the tears that finally came. The world had remembered him. The man who thought he was invisible was suddenly seen again. He hugged Liam tight like a father to a son, whispering thank you over and over like the words themselves could rewrite the years he'd lost. Within a week, Liam helped him find a small motel room, a bed with real sheets, a shower that worked, and a sense of peace he hadn't known since his 20s. The story kept growing. Reporters called TV anchors, replayed the clip. People sent letters, some with cash, some with prayers, all with hope. Raymond used the money wisely. He bought clothes, groceries, and a small laptop to learn new skills, but most of all he began visiting shelters, sharing his story with others like him. He told them about that rainy afternoon and the stranger with a camera who saw him when no one else did. One night he met a woman named Janice, a former Navy medic living out of her car. She had that same lost look in her eyes that Raymond once carried. She said she didn't believe in miracles anymore, and he told her softly, "Neither did I, until one found me in the rain." They sat for hours talking about regret and redemption, about how easy it is to lose faith and how hard it is to find it again. Months passed, and Raymond began to heal. The darkness that followed him started to fade, replaced by purpose. He opened a small outreach project with the help of Liam and Janice. They called it Second Shot, a place where veterans could come for food, blankets, and a little hope. It wasn't fancy, just a rented hall with mismatched chairs and coffee that never ran out, but it was alive, full of laughter and stories that deserved to be heard. Every Saturday they handed out supplies under a handmade banner that read, "It's never too late." The same words from that soaked card years ago, and every time he looked at that basketball sitting on the shelf he smiled, remembering how a single choice had set everything in motion. People online still watched his old videos. Sometimes it resurfaced on social media, tagged as the kindness story that changed lives. But Raymond never cared about the views. He cared about the nights when someone from the streets knocked on the door asking if there was still a place left for them, and he would say, "Come on in, there's always room for one more." Years rolled by. The wrinkles deepened, the hair turned gray, but his eyes carried something bright again. Peace, maybe pride, maybe both. When a local reporter came to interview him for a follow-up piece, she asked, "What was the biggest change in your life since that day?" He thought for a moment, smiled softly, and said, "Realizing that kindness doesn't just change the one who receives it, it changes the one who gives it." He paused, looked down at that old basketball resting by his chair, and said, "That kid thought he was helping me, but truth is, he gave me back to myself." The room went quiet, the kind of quiet that carries weight and beauty all at once, and maybe that's the heart of it. Maybe the world doesn't need more money or fame or grand gestures. Maybe it just needs more moments like that one, when a stranger with a camera saw a man standing in the rain and decided he was worth seeing. So, if you ever wonder whether one small act can really make a difference, think of Raymond, think of the basketball, the card, the laughter, the tears, the second chances, because sometimes all it takes to change a life is the courage to stop and say, "I see you," on. As the story fades into memory, as the rain keeps falling somewhere in Ohio, a man still walks the same streets, but now his head is high, his steps are steady, and in his pocket, he carries a small folded card that once told him the truth he'd forgotten. It's never too late, brother. Never. Asterisk. If this story touched your heart, don't just watch, pass it on, because one small act of kindness can ripple farther than you think. Like, share, and subscribe for more true stories that remind us it's never too late to start again.